Go.
Okay. Hi, my name's Renee Ali, student number 80097. This is my student card. Cool. And this is practical brief interventions and loss and grief support. And this is my client Elizabeth Gray, who's being played by my sister Penny. And Penny, do you give your permission to be recorded today?
I do.
Okay, so let's begin. Right. Hi Elizabeth, my name's Renee. Welcome
Nice
to
to meet
the Wellness Counselling Centre.
Thank you.
How are you today?
I'm alright, thank you.
Alright. Did you find the place okay?
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, the directions we gave you over the phone,
Yeah,
it was all okay?
pretty easy
Okay.
to find.
Elizabeth, thanks for bringing in your counselling contract all signed. So we don't need to go through that because we went through all that over the phone together. So I just have to ask you before we get started, are you okay with me taking notes today?
Yes, I'm fine with
Okay, beautiful. So thank you for coming in today. Let's get started. So Elizabeth, are you able to tell me a little bit about yourself?
it. Yes, I'm a medical receptionist.
Mm-hmm.
I have a husband.
Mm-hmm.
He's a software engineer, and I
Okay.
have a 4-year-old daughter,
Oh.
Emily.
Lovely.
Yeah.
And you've just got the one child?
Yes,
Okay. And are you working full-time or part-time?
part-time.
Okay, Elizabeth, let's write that down. Part-time. Medical receptionist, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So are you able to tell me a little bit about what's brought you into counselling today?
Yeah, pretty much my mum passed away 6 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband's been having some concerns about me.
Yep.
And I think with the way I'm coping,
Okay.
you know.
Why do you think your husband's concerned about you? What signs have you been displaying to him? Or
I'm just not doing very well
okay.
with the whole situation. Yeah.
So I'm very sorry to hear that, Elizabeth. And I understand that it's very fresh for you because you said Mum passed a month ago.
Yes.
Okay. Are you comfortable telling me how Mum passed?
I'll try.
It's okay. Take your time. There's no rush at all.
Okay, 2 years ago,
Mhm.
Mum was diagnosed with cancer,
Okay. Yeah.
and it was pretty much a shock to me
Mhm.
because,
It's okay.
sorry.
It's alright. It's alright. Okay, Elizabeth, I just want you to close your eyes for a minute, okay? And I want you to take some deep breaths in. I'll do it with you. So just follow my lead. So breathe in. Okay, and then breathe out. Let's try that again. Breathe in and breathe out. And what we're trying to do is we're just trying to focus on the here and now and bring yourself back to our session together. Let's try again. Breathe in and then breathe out. Excellent. Are you feeling okay?
Yeah.
Do you want to do that one more time? Yeah? Okay, so breathe in and out. Okay. You alright? Yeah.
Okay.
So I-
Anyway,
Continue.
She-
It's fine.
she was diagnosed with cancer, and it was a huge shock to me because she had stopped smoking,
Okay.
and it just happened so suddenly.
Mhm.
I had to take time off work, an extended leave actually, so I could take care of Mum.
Okay.
She was having treatment
Mhm.
for it. She was having chemo, etc. But ultimately, she just didn't want to
Okay.
continue with it anymore, and then
Yeah.
which led to her passing.
Okay. And so that must have been extremely difficult for you, Elizabeth.
Yeah,
So how did you feel about Mum stopping her treatment?
I wasn't too happy about it,
Hmm.
because I felt that if maybe she continued,
Yeah.
there might have been a chance of her surviving a bit longer.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so thank you for sharing that with me, Elizabeth. I can't imagine how you're feeling. but I'm really happy that you're opening up to me and you're expressing to me, you know, they're very difficult emotions to work through. And I understand that if at any moment you feel like you need to stop or you need to take a minute, just please let me know, because I understand we're going through some raw emotions here for you. So, and if you want at any time, just let me know. We can slow things down if I'm working too quickly for you. Or if you, the sessions, you're in complete control with our session. Okay. So, whilst Mum was going through her treatment, and were you her primary caregiver?
Yes.
You were. Okay. And how long were you caring for her in your home?
I'd say about a year.
About a year?
About a year, yeah.
And how did Mum living with you and your family affect your family unit at home?
It was a bit of it was a stressful situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you think your family coped with it? Was there any what
Yeah, because my main attention was on Mum. So yeah, my husband would have been suffering through it, and my daughter as well.
Yeah.
She didn't get the attention she needs.
Right.
So
So it sounds like you had a lot on your plate, Elizabeth,
yes.
while Mum was going through her treatment and you're caring for Mum. So let's see. So I must admit, you know, it does take an incredibly strong person to be able to do that. You know, you were trying to look after your family and you were looking after Mum at the same time. You were trying to balance all these things. So I'm just wondering if now, because Mum's passed, if you have a sense of there's something missing, because you were doing that for a whole entire year, and so do you feel like
I must admit, I did. Before coming here,
yeah,
I didn't feel that there was.
Okay.
But now that I've spoken to you, I do feel like there's a void.
There's a void there. Yeah. Okay, because things have changed, and do you feel like not only like losing Mum, obviously, you know, losing Mum, it's a big thing, but it's like your whole dynamic has changed now.
Yeah.
You don't know how to reset, go back.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And were you and Mum close?
Yes.
Very close. Okay. Can you tell me a little bit about your relationship, or how was it?
We were like best friends.
Best friends,
You know,
yeah.
she's someone I could always talk to, always, you know, ask for advice.
Yeah.
And I don't have that anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Mum was like your go-to person.
Yes.
All right. So Elizabeth, and please slow me down if I'm going too quick for you here, because I understand it's it's a very distressing time for you. Are you able to tell me what emotions come up for you when you think of Mum's passing?
I get angry sometimes.
Angry?
Yeah. Angry because she could have avoided, I feel, even though she did stop smoking before, but if she hadn't smoked, she might have been able to avoid this from happening.
Yeah.
And I'm also angry about the fact that she stopped the treatment.
She stopped
when she could have continued, you know.
Right. And that's okay, and it's perfectly normal to have those conflicting emotions, you know, where you miss Mum, but on the same hand, you're really angry with Mum. May I ask, Elizabeth, how did you feel when, you know, how did you feel when Mum was deteriorating?
It was the worst feeling in the world.
Okay.
To see your best friend, your mum, the person that you always, you know, that was always there for you, just slipping away. It was the hardest thing for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with me, Elizabeth. And I understand once again that we're tapping into some really raw emotions for you here, and how difficult it must be for you to share them with me. You know, we just met.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you opening up with me again. So I just want you to take a minute, because we're tapping into these emotions, and just have a moment to breathe, soak it all in, and then we'll continue with our session. Okay. So let's try that breathing exercise again.
Okay.
So to breathe in, and then breathe out. We're just focusing on the here and now in our session together. Breathing in, yep. Breathe out. Okay. You feel like you're okay to keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So when I hear, Elizabeth, of you speaking of Mum giving up her treatment 6 months ago, okay, I'm sensing that you're feeling somewhat guilty about not being able to convince Mum to keep going on with her
Yes.
treatment. There's a slight, you know, in the tone in your voice, I sense a little bit of guilt. Am I right in
Yes,
saying
that's
that?
correct.
Yeah?
I tried.
You tried.
I really tried my best, but somehow I couldn't.
Okay. Do you feel the emotion that comes up for you? I'm almost getting a sense of you feel as though you failed Mum in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah?
definitely.
Okay. But in bringing you back on that point there, Elizabeth, I want you to understand that Mum was an individual, okay?
Yeah.
Who made her own choices. And regarding, you know, stopping her treatment, that was her choice that she had made. And that's a huge burden to carry with you every day. You know, and you shouldn't take that on board. Because like I said, you had no control over what Mum chose to do. You did your best, you were her carer, you stood by her, you know, you did all those things that were in your control. But as far as changing Mum's mind on stopping her, you know, or on continuing with her therapy, that was entirely out of your control, and I don't want you to carry that with you every day.
It's really hard.
It's hard, of course, yeah. But I want you to start processing that in the next few weeks. Let's see if we can just, you know, shift that thinking pattern. I know it's difficult, and I can't imagine what it feels like, but we're just going to try to, you know, reposition the way that you're thinking about that situation.
Okay.
Alright, so let's see. So what are some thoughts that you have when you think about the last 6 months of Mum's life? What feelings come up for you?
I just wish that it was better.
Just that wish that things were better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just wish it, you know, like, I think about it and we could have had more time. I just think about how we could have had more time with Mum.
Yeah.
You know, like my daughter's lost her grandmother.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's only 4.
Yeah.
So
And how often would you say that you have these thoughts?
on a daily basis.
Daily? Okay. So do you think that's fair on yourself, Elizabeth, to carry these thoughts around with you?
Probably not.
No, you do see that? That it's not fair on yourself? Okay. And how do you feel that by you having these thoughts is affecting your home, so the relationship you're having with your husband and your daughter?
We've been a bit strained, but I didn't necessarily think that it was because of this.
The thoughts that you were having?
You know,
Yeah.
I just thought that we just like having arguments and
Okay.
so on, you know.
How do you think it's making them feel?
They wouldn't be feeling too good.
Yeah.
No.
Not too good?
Now that I think about it, I must admit probably in a way it's been a bit selfish of me.
Yeah.
Because they've also lost someone.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
So you're acknowledging that everybody's grieving at this time.
Yeah.
And everyone's at a different stage of grief.
That's right.
Yeah. And is it fair to say that the family requires the whole unit to come together in order to get through this?
Yes.
Yeah. So what are some things that you're doing for yourself, Elizabeth, to enable you to get through this grieving process?
I've not done anything.
Not doing anything
No.
at this stage? Okay, that's fair, because like you said, it's still fresh.
Yeah.
It's only a month.
And like I said to you, I didn't feel there was a problem really
Okay.
until now that I've spoken to you today.
Right.
Because that's part of our arguments that we've been having.
Yeah.
Is that my husband feels like, you know, there is a problem and I didn't
Okay. So we're peeling away the layers, and you're
Yeah.
sort of seeing it now.
Yeah.
What he's been talking about. That's great. You know, that's good that you're starting to tap into those emotions. May I ask, Elizabeth, have you returned to work?
Yes.
Yes, you have. Okay.
Yeah.
And how are you finding work at this time? Being with everything.
I think I've put most of my all into work, really. Yeah. Probably
So-
to avoid
Mm-hmm.
what it is that I'm actually feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But do you think by you going back to work,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's so basically that you feel that's what's keeping you going at this stage? But do you think it's sort of you're just sort of pushing the emotions to the side
That's right.
whilst you're
That's
working?
what I meant. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's helping you to forget
Yes.
in a way. Okay. And may I ask, how are your sleeping patterns, Elizabeth?
Not too good.
They're not too good. Okay. Because I was just wondering because often when we lose focus, it can become, it's because of our sleeping patterns. They're being disrupted.
Yeah.
And that can also trigger, we can have these maybe feelings of anger and because we're not getting enough rest and our body's tired and we're crying and we're grieving and the body's just exhausted and needs a minute to reboot.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's see. Alright, so what else can we talk about? Is there anything else that you'd like to share with me today, Elizabeth? Before we go on any further, is there anything else that you can think of that you might want to mention? Or?
No, I think that's about it. Like I just wish that I could have done more.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And now, in hindsight, I wish that I could have done more for my family as well.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Okay. So, look, you've undergone a huge loss, Elizabeth. Losing your mum, your best friend, and I'm not surprised at all that you're having difficulty concentrating, sleeping, and these are all common and normal responses to loss. Okay, so just because mum's passed does not mean that the bond that you shared has to be broken. Okay, is that something that you think would help you if you continued that bond that you had with mum? Okay. So, is there something? I want you to take a minute just to think. Is there something that you can think of doing to continue that bond with mum? I can give you a few examples, but like I said, it's your session. Is there anything that you can think of?
Talk to her.
Yeah? Talk to her?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. So a way of talking to mum, I mean, you could obviously sit there and have, you could have a conversation with mum if you wanted to, but another way that people have found to be very helpful is writing a letter to the deceased. So there's a few things that you could do, but I think we'll just start off small because it is so fresh. We'll start off with the letter. The other option is putting up some family photos because it brings those memories back to life of those photos that you're putting up. But in saying that, talking to mum is a good one. And the letter can also assist you in addressing certain emotions that you were unable to express to mum while she was alive.
Okay.
So do you think that's something that you'd be able to do or you'd be willing to do at this stage?
I'll try my best.
You'll try your best? Yeah, perfect. Okay, fantastic. So I notice that you display a slight happiness when we talk about continuing the bond with mum. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah? It makes you happy when you think of that?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Alright, so I want you to do your best to try to write that letter to mum, Elizabeth, but I want you to know that it's a personal letter, so I don't want you to feel like you're obligated to share that with me at all.
Okay.
If you want to, you are more than welcome to, but it's a personal letter between you and mum.
Okay.
We're just going to, talk or speak about how the letter made you feel, you expressing different emotions, how you can connect with those emotions. That's where I'll that's where my role is. Okay, but
Okay.
if you would like to share it with me, you are more than welcome to. Okay, and I want you to know that all the emotions that you're experiencing, once again, Elizabeth, from being sad to being happy, and they're completely normal for your stage of grieving. So I don't want you to feel like there is something wrong with you or that you need to overcome these emotions quick. So Elizabeth, at times it can be helpful to share these difficult feelings with others that are going through the same process that you are. So there is a group called the Rainbow Foundation, and it's for people to meet up to so people that have lost loved ones due to terminal illness, and it's a support group where everybody comes together and shares their stories and shares their grief. And at first it can be quite daunting to go to, but as you attend a few sessions, you see that this can really help you open up and work through these emotions. And I was just wondering if that's something that you would be interested in doing.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Alright, great. So when we go out the front to make your new appointment, we'll give you a flyer, and it's got the days and the times on there with the address, and you can go once a week, you can go twice a week, whatever you're comfortable with doing.
Okay.
Elizabeth, yeah.
Yeah.
And it can also assist people in not feeling so isolated with their emotions, because you'll see that you've got this connection with others, and it's something that you guys can work through together, and you feel like you've got a little bit of support.
Okay.
All right. All right. So I'd love to hear how your first session goes, Elizabeth. So if you could come give me some feedback, and we can also see if there's anything that you'd like to change, or if that group wasn't suited for you, we can, we can change you to something a little bit more suited, for your state of grief. And so there was anything else that you'd like to discuss with me today, or
No.
no?
No. I just wanted to say thank you. You made me feel very comfortable, and
That's okay.
I was able to talk about it more
Yep.
than I do with my family. So,
Right. No,
yeah,
I'm
thanks
very
a
happy
lot.
to hear that I've been of some assistance to you. So I'll walk you up the front, Elizabeth, and we'll go ahead and make your next appointment.
Okay.
And before I let you go, I just want to let you know that I'm extremely proud of you today for opening up, and I can't imagine how you're feeling, and like I said, it must be extremely difficult for you to talk about these emotions, especially with me, and it's someone you don't know, you've just met me. But it takes an awful lot of courage to do that, and I want you to know that I'm very proud of you today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
It was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Okay, we'll just walk up the front. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.